Good evening. How is everyone? Everybody good? Hey, happy Hanukkah to any and all of my Jewish friends out there. Um, and man, keep them in your prayers, man. The atrocities are just off the charts of what's freaking going on with stuff, the last couple days with the shootings at Brown and our soldiers and then Australia. It's just a wacky world. But anyway, happy Hanukkah to everybody out there that celebrates it. I hope you're having a great week. We had a fun week, and April's going to talk a little bit more about the incredible Zoom that Thursday night and what kind of amazing tool it has turned into as far as moving forward and helping people with understanding just how amazing our products are and how how we can all take them for granted after a while. We just grab a pill out of a blue bottle and just think it's just another vitamin, and we found out differently on Thursday, and it was nice to be reminded of how spectacular it is. But let me pull up a few slides here. Okay. So let's see. I just need to move this. Okie doke. So anyway, going to go through a few things. April and I are going to go back and forth with some things, and then at the end, just put any questions or ideas or thoughts that you have in the chat, and we'll address them, later, before we end the Zoom. But next Sunday there will not be a fast start Zoom on Sunday night. So in honor of Christmas being in the middle of the week, there won't be a Zoom. Um, and tomorrow there will not be a power hour. So just those two things, okay? No power hour tomorrow and no Zoom next Sunday night. But we will be back, okay, the Sunday following Christmas on the 28th. So it's just that one. And as I go through some of this, keep in mind, and I'm going a little bit out of order, but the end of the month call for December is going to be the 22nd. Normally it's the 25th. So if the reason it's the 22nd, they're probably going to be doing some promotion or special or something to end the month, end the year, Christmas special, whatever it is. They're probably going to do something like that. I'm not sure. But if we need to get in touch with you, we will get in touch with you. Okay. You won't miss out. Please watch out for all emails. Don't take them, for granted. Messages on Facebook for special announcements and Telegram. Okay, we'll be making sure everything goes in the Facebook groups, Telegram, and obviously we can either evo you messages or text us, text you from our phones. But if anything, if we're not doing next Sunday, we are doing the following Sunday, but that announcement on the 22nd is in the middle of that. And if we need to get in touch with you or get people to pop on for a short Zoom or something, we'll do that. We'll make sure nobody misses out on anything. And keep in mind, we are at the end of the year as far as the tax year goes. And, starting a business is tax deductible. So, it was funny. I was talking to a friend of mine at pickleball yesterday, and, he's always looking for investors for his business. And he's got they're playing with millions of dollars over there. We're not talking about starting a business for $1,000. But what he was sharing is he's got a lot of investors looking at investing because of the tax write-off, and they can either invest in a business or pay the government. Well, wouldn't you be better off, just starting a business than giving it to the government? So keep that in mind. Keep that in your verbiage, when you're talking to people, because that's just a matter of fact. That's how it goes. So The other thing is please register if you haven't already for the 2026 global kickoff. That's corporate. It's a free Zoom, but you need to register for it. And the earlier we register, the better. It just helps them get a grip on what they're doing. In April, what is that? January 10th? Is that what that is? Is it the 10th or the 12th? What's
The
the
10th, the 10th. I'm sorry, there's something else going on the 10th. Yes.
Okay. Is it something you need to announce or
No.
oh, okay.
No.
Okay. So if you haven't already done that, not only register, but please remind your teammates to register. And, you might be able to do it for them and help them out, but, let's get those registrations in. Again, it doesn't cost anything. All right. So let's get everybody registered for that. But let me go to the next slide. Okay. April, would you go over this?
Yeah, sure. This is let's see, existing. Okay, so this is the promos that are going on. Congratulations, Kenneth already has his almost 600, so we're excited. Means he gets 10 points towards the trip. So we're starting to qualify for a new mini trip. Oh, run from now. You can get an additional 10 points now if you have 600 SV. It also puts him to get the new product. And I have to tell you, I had my first sample yesterday. Super, super excited about this. Really excited about it. So
Tell them. I mean, everyone else talking about it, so tell them.
yeah, yeah. So it's Axio X. It's a great workout product, really, and it tastes really good. I couldn't find anything in it that would be, like, everybody's got, I don't want this ingredient, that ingredient, whatever. Couldn't find anything in it that people are not going to like. It sat well with me. It worked well with me. It tastes great. So I was like, wow. And we're going to be able to sample this really easily. So super excited about that. So that's just going to be another great product and an area for, particularly Bobby and I, with the amount of tennis and pickleball we play with, that's been missing. And I got to tell you, I got friends that use all kind of junk, anything they can get just to get that edge. And like I said, I looked and I didn't see anything in this that isn't so super exciting there. But whether you have 200 SV or 600 SV, they're going to do a 90-day run, what they're calling, of special Zooms and trainings. And I almost wish they were going to open it up to the customers, particularly those on the GLP-1, but it'll be a special training. There'll be nutrition in there, exercise, all kind of things, everything towards being more of a healthy person. So that'll be, if you do the 200, you'll be enrolled with that and you'll get to do that. So, so that's all the exciting stuff here on this slide.
Okay. So if you haven't, in April, chime in on this also, but what we've been doing is, you've heard us say, we text everybody that's a prospect that we've been working on. Okay. We send them a project broadcast text every Sunday around dinner time. Okay. East Coast dinner time. So it's around 6:30 Sunday night. Every week. We never miss a week. Okay. And it's always it's mainly a message to let them know we're still out there. It's a message to let them know we're still thinking about them. It's a message to remind them that maybe the last time that we spoke, it wasn't the right time, but we're still there and ready, to help them in any way we can. Um, but I'll tell you, it is mind-boggling how helpful it's been, how productive it's been. And I know our phone is blowing up now because 6:30 was just 90 minutes ago. And April, read this off, left to right. Obviously, it's all one text. So the left
Yeah,
is the top, and where it says continue, that's the bottom half of it.
yeah.
But tell them some of the feedback you're getting just from today.
Yeah. So, well, today, yeah, a lot of messages coming back in. But since, this was Thursday night that we did that Zoom. So obviously Friday, yesterday, I did a lot of follow up with those that weren't on it. So what I do is I always, if somebody agreed to be on it, I always follow up right away that next day and just say, because it's 9 o'clock here by the time we're done, it's a little after 9, but I just say, what did you love best about the Zoom, or what interests you most about the Zoom? Even if I knew they weren't on it, I just say, yeah, I just assume everybody was on it. Then they tell me they're not on it. They ask for the recording. But even people that have come to mind the last few days, customers, consultants that haven't been overly active, gotten a lot of good feedback from it, that are listening to it. And because of it, a few good things have come out of it. People who were just on NRF2 have upgraded to the Tri-Synergizer now. So they're on the Tri-Synergizer, I can't even say it, package now. But they got more of an understanding of what Protandim does. And, it really is the hardest thing for people to understand, particularly if you've got to try to explain it to somebody. That's why when you do these short videos, or a long one where you do the training on that, super cool. Bobby and I there's been a local lady here that we've wanted for quite a while. I followed up with her. She apologized for not being on the Zoom, sent her the recording, and then she just asked if Bobby and I can do dinner next Friday night. So, I mean, it's just again and again, people are upgrading orders. They're going back on orders. We just need to do all these touches out there. The best way, and this is probably what you'll find as a time kill, you need to get on the phone, share your information, and get off. And you need to do it in a timely fashion. Sometimes people get on and they'll spend 40 minutes or something with somebody. Nobody has that kind of time. So kind of get to the point, express what a great video that is. So even if you're doing it in text, just having all these different touches and having people look at it is so, so important. So, Bobby even chopped it down to make it just the Tri-Synergizer. If you want to send something shorter, you want to send something longer, you send the whole recording. But one of the things that people need to be, even if they're already on the Tri-Synergizer, they need to be reminded why they're on the products. GLP-1, collagen, it's an obvious, and people can see results with it. But, so often people are on Protandim and they forget what the benefits are. They forget why they're taking it. They may think it's just another nutritional product. I've had people say, I'm on the blue bottle. They have no idea what it is, what it does, or anything. And so, all that is so important with just going over people. It also gives you the opportunity to reach out to somebody who's been quiet. Maybe they're on an auto ship. Maybe they're intermittent with their auto ship. Maybe they've recently gone off. But, it's just another tool to be able to reach out to people. And this is a time where definitely do a customer deep dive. And I'll tell you a little bit of a secret. This is generally a better time to speak to men, because as we go into this next week, they don't have as much stuff to do as women. Women are full out just crazy. They just, between families being in, the additional cooking and, the cleaning and just the shopping that's going on, the decorating, they're busy. But men kind of go into this time, and a lot of businesses, they'll literally shut down for the next 2 weeks. And so it's an easier time for you to be able to get their attention, particularly if they're not traveling or something. So, do keep that in mind. If you've got some guys on your list that have been super busy because they're working, not able to watch something or get on the phone with you, this is a great, great time for that. But we've gotten a lot of good feedback already just on that Zoom. So definitely use it. But you can see here, even though last week I sent out a text for people that wanted to be on it, now I sent out, do you want the recording, and got totally different people. So again, when somebody gets a text or a phone call, don't take it personal at all. It's just, you may have gotten them at a busy time. When you pick up the phone and you talk to somebody, you ask if they have time to talk. It never fails to amaze me the number of people who in the middle of dinner will pick up the phone and you'll say, is this a good time to talk? And they're like, well, we're eating dinner now. I'm like, why did they even pick up the phone? I don't understand some of this. So, people are busy. So if it's a text, maybe they just read it and go on and they don't reply at that point. Don't take it personally. Everybody's fast paced these days. So you may need several touches to be able to get the person you want and the timing may be right. And all of a sudden they look at the video and they're like, I need all those products, or we need to talk. We need to get, some face-to-face time, which, like I said, we've already seen this happening, but I did make sure that I continued to follow up with even those that didn't get back with the recording. I had another lady, a tennis lady who's been on the Tri-Synergizer forever. And, I said, you probably need to be reminded why you're taking all these products. And she was totally blown away with the products and stuff. So just good stuff, good things to remind your people why they're on the products, what the products do, because they are. And you know what? If they've got a little bit more education and they feel like they've got some knowledge about the product, they may introduce you or tell somebody else about the product. So, this is the season now. People are going to look to get into the health thing right after the first. You're going to start to hear about all the different crazy diets and what is it that 75 hard, or you're going to hear all this crazy stuff start to go on now, because this is the time people are going to start to look at their health. I talked to somebody today who had quite the weekend with partying, and then they said to me, I think I need to get back to some health because of, I guess, maybe the amount of alcohol they had in or something. So, people are going to look to right after the holiday, get back to a cleaner system than all the sweets and alcohol and stuff that maybe they're around that they shouldn't be around and stuff. And you don't feel good. You don't feel good when you do all that stuff. So they're going to want to feel good again and get back to exercising and stuff.
I had mentioned this earlier.
Yeah, I'll be traveling. I'll literally be on a plane tomorrow, so I can't do this at that time. So we'll pick it back up after. I think it has a lot of value. I know it does for me. I was able to get people on the Thursday night call because I was in Messenger messaging people and talking to people, and a whole different subset there than maybe some people that you have in your phones and your contacts.
So just a reminder, folks, and again, I don't know, this is through the end of the month, but the Mind Body by itself is 20% off, and the P84 with the Mind Body, the combination together is 25% off. So just keep that in mind. That's great discounts and great sale prices, and then who knows what they're going to do. On the 22nd for the end of the month. We have no idea what that's going to be, but these are the two things that are on sale right now. Now, April was just talking about these, and I just want to take another minute to share. When you send somebody a tool like a video, a YouTube link, which obviously everybody can open a YouTube link, that's not difficult. There's no memory involved. There's not downloading a file. It's just a link that they need to click on. You never know when it's going to get shared. And April said this earlier, you never know when they're going to talk to a friend about it because they heard something they didn't know about it, or they were using it and didn't realize what it was doing for them, on top of the original reason they started using it. The one thing we all need to understand when it comes to our products, they're going to do what they do, whether you and I know it or not. And a lot of times there's going to be additional benefits we're getting from it, and they may not be the reason why we chose to use it. In the first place, it may be something totally different. So, don't miss the opportunity to share this stuff. And April said before, the whole link is there, the whole training, and that's around 50 minutes or so. And then the Try Synergizer section that Kelly did is also available separately. Okay, and they're both just YouTube links. Kelly's is, I don't know, 20, 22 minutes, something like that. But use the tools. What a time of year to share this kind of information, with people. Their mindset, where they are. We already talked about Hanukkah. Christmas is 10 days away. And then the whole health kick of starting the new year. I can't imagine better information to be sharing with people right now than this. Okay, this is just good stuff, good information. So take advantage of it. And it's already on Telegram. You can help yourself. It's already on in the Facebook groups. And everything's always on our YouTube channel too. You can go to Bob and April at YouTube, and every video we've ever done is there. I mean, every video that we've ever done is there. So those places you can always find anything you need. So April, I think that was it on the slides, but has anybody texted or chatted anything there that you want to address?
Oh no, no. Oh, well, actually, no. Somebody asked if the GLP-1 was on sale. So it's 20% off for everyone. And it's also, if you have it on subscription, the 20% is going to come off too. So you
And
don't have
that'll
to,
happen automatically. Okay, you
yeah.
don't have to do anything. If it's on subscription, 20% is going to be taken off the price when they run this subscription. So that will be automatic. What else? Does anyone have any questions or ideas or thoughts coming up for, we got 17 days left in the month. Obviously, we are going to be around a lot of, for lack of a better word, warm market, people. We're going to be around a lot of people in the next 17 days. It was funny. I was talking to Kenneth yesterday, and he's got six new customers, and in the last 2 days he's got six new customers. But the one of the things he asked for is, a master list so he could communicate with his customers. And, that's available in your back office. You can pull your master list of all your customers and their emails and their phone numbers, and you can pull that information right in your back office. If you're not sure how to do it, you can reach out. April and I are both out of town for the next 4 days. So on that particular thing, call the company, please. We'll be back. We'll both be back in town on Thursday, but we are both out of town starting tomorrow. And but what a great way to break the ice with people and remind them of what's going on. And a lot of people, if you have customers that have been on subscription, a lot of them may have blocked announcements coming from the company years ago, which means they have no idea when there's a sale. Okay. A lot of them may have never looked in on Facebook where the announcements are. Some of them may not be on Facebook at all. So even though the company sends emails out, even though they post it, you can't assume your customers are getting it, and your customers are your customers. So, this is a great time of year to remind them what's going on, as far as sales go and what's available. And again, there'll probably be something added to what's going on the 22nd, for the close of month. I mean, that's still going to leave us 9 days from whatever it is they announce on the 22nd, Um, but anyway, yeah, it's, if you want to take advantage of the time of year where people are making New Year's resolutions, health resolutions, financial resolutions, we have to be in their heads now where they're thinking about our products for health. They're thinking about our opportunity for finances. They're thinking about it because we can't wait to the first or after the first, because then someone else is in their head and they're going to do something with somebody else. It's like, if you're thinking, well, I still got 17 days, you don't. Okay, you got to get into and what better way of reminding people what a great product line we have than, say, sharing I don't know that I just start with sharing a 50-minute, video that's got all the products on it. Now, if they're considering GLP-1 because it's on sale, you definitely want them to hear what Donna had to say about it. Okay, in that. But what a great icebreaker with the 20 minutes that Kelly did, okay, which is why we split it up. Yeah, I know Angie and Allie did a bridal thing last Sunday. Okay, you know what? The 20% off the GLP-1 and what Dr. Gordon had to say about it probably wouldn't be a bad thing to communicate to soon-to-be brides, okay, and their future husbands and the bridal party, because who doesn't want to drop some weight or sizes heading into a wedding? I mean, that's so this is a great time of year, folks, to be, you want to just stay in touch with people. I don't know how much closing of getting in the business is going to happen in 17 days, although why not take it as a deduction on your taxes? I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? I know one of the guys that just responded to the text that went out today, someone I've been working on a year, sent a message back, "Hey Bob, it's finally time for me to get started in this. Call me." Okay. And the message that went out, you read it, okay, on the screen. We were talking about getting the recording for Tri Synergizer. We weren't talking about starting the business, but this is somebody that we've been dripping on, okay, for close to a year. And he's a lead that I've been working on. And he just got that text that had nothing to do with business, it had everything to do with product, and said, "Hey, I'm ready to get started." And that's why we have to keep dripping on people. We have to stay, I don't know how to say it any better. We have to stay in their heads. So when health or weight loss come up, they think of us. When opportunity, money, or earning money comes up, they think of us. And if we're not in their heads, we're liable to be very disappointed in January when we find out they bought something from somebody else or some other company and decided to do something different because we allowed them to forget about us. And we shouldn't do that. We should always be polite, always be respectful. And you read the text that we send out, and April runs it through AI 4 or 5 times before it goes out and makes sure that it sounds proper and it's not out of line with anything. But we're not offending anybody. I'm telling, there's times we get back 70, 80, 90 responses on a Sunday to that text that goes out. So, and if they want to opt out, they just hit stop and they're out. So it's not like you're ever going to aggravate anybody because they could always say stop and that's it. It gets stopped. So, April?
Yeah, so just two things as you're around people, again, it's people are celebrating. So if somebody is talking and they bring up that they've got something going on, again, ideal time, don't get into a whole conversation with them. But again, this is where I always use the line, I might have something that'll help you with that. Would you be open to taking a look at a short video? End of a conversation. People are at a party, they're socializing with relatives, maybe, special events at church or whatever. So, it's not a time to do a deep dive person to person about the whole business or even a product for that matter. But, just get the conversation going that, hey, if you're open, I'd like to share your video. I think it might help you. And then take it to texting, take it off that. The other thing that you also want to do this time of the year, and really any time of the year, is give people an out. Hey, I'm going to send the video over, or I sent the video over. If you've been too busy to watch it, I totally understand. Crazy time of the year. Or, if they get back and just said, I'm traveling, kids are home and stuff, just say, hey, if I call you after the first, would that be a better time? So give people an out when you're talking to them so that you don't feel weird about doing that follow-up with them, that continued follow-up. So I always just, that's one of the things that I've always done is if I feel like, they've just been busy, maybe I've called a few times, I'll just say, hey, if, you're really busy right now, is it better to call you back after a certain time? So this way you can always keep that conversation going. And it's not like they have to give you a hard no. You should never get a no. It should be maybe right, not now or whatever, but allow people to be busy. And a lot of times I really believe and that's why I'm really happy with the way that Thursday night went. They just don't have enough information about our business. They're kind of like sitting on the sidelines. It looks really good, but I'm not really sure. I'm not sure I can do this. And so until you can make them excited about the product and feel like this is something they can do, they're not going to do it. They're just, they're just going to kind of look at it and stuff. And so that's the value of all this dripping that we do is It's a little bit of a nugget every week, a little bit of something that we could just share a bigger picture with them until they finally say, you know what, I think I understand this. I think I got this and stuff. So again, give people an out, keep it really light going through the holidays. I might have something that'll help you. If you let people talk, they'll raise something that applies to either our business or our products, that something will start, and that will give you the door opener for a conversation, and then they feel good because you didn't do a deep dive into the products. The worst thing you want to do is, if somebody's sitting there and says something at dinner or whatever, is all of a sudden start hounding them on products. You just don't want to do that. So just keep it light. I'll send you a video. It's really the best way to do it, and then you just have to remember to do that follow-up too.
So one last thing, and again, to all my Jewish friends, happy Hanukkah. Um, One thing I do want to share, and this has happened 3 times, and I really want to applaud you and congratulate you. We're one of the few groups that are still doing a weekly training. Most of the executives have combined 4, 5, 6 executives, and they're combining their trainings and doing it once a month, and letting other people do it and stuff. But I want to share what we've been told. The last 3 guests that we've had, the Smollicks, Robin Summer, Jenny Crane, okay, and then Kelly and Donna, on Thursday night. And Donna's not as involved in building the business. She sells a boatload of products in her office, but Kelly shared. Each one of them said we did the most for guests when they spoke with our team. We had the most guests of anyone that's doing a weekly call. And again, you got presidentials, combining to do things, and a lot of executives. But I just want to say hats off to you, okay? I mean, April's been on, some of Rachel's calls where there were 20 people on and stuff. And, just congratulations to all of you, because we've been doing Sunday nights for over 20 years. And you say, but Bobby, you guys are only here 8 years. Yeah, we were doing it 13 years before we got here, okay, on Sunday nights. So, no night is perfect, okay, but it just seems like 8 o'clock on Sunday night is just not a bad time to do it. But thank you for doing that. We love to get that feedback. And I wanted to share it with you because, even corporate has said, I had a chance to spend some time with Gentry when we were in Mexico, and he said, you guys still doing your weekly Sunday nights? And I'm like, yeah, why do you ask? It's been 20 consecutive years, And he said, well, a lot of people stop doing them weekly and they're combining, and then they only have to do the training once a month and this and that. And so anyway, thank you. We appreciate it. And any last thoughts, April? Otherwise, we'll
Yeah,
close
I
the
think
night.
somebody has a birthday tomorrow. Dr.
Oh,
Goodman.
who?
Dr. Goodman has a birthday
Dr.
tomorrow.
Goodman. Happy
We won't ask you
birthday.
how old, and we won't sing, but you don't want to hear that. But happy birthday.
And I will say another happy Hanukkah to you, buddy. I hope you have a great week and enjoy
Yeah,
it.
thanks. I'll be 69 tomorrow.
Okay, well, congratulations.
69 going on 49. So that's, I
Absolutely.
and I can tell you I heard that straight from his trainer's mouth. So that's not coming from him, that's coming from his trainer. So anyway, everybody have a great week. If something comes up, we'll reach out to you. But enjoy having next Sunday night off. And then don't forget to tune in on Monday night and see whatever the company's doing for end of month. Okay? Have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye. Take care.